What's going on, my fellow Cronians, and welcome back to another LolCow TCG deck building video. And in this one, we're going to be doing my Chungus deck build, so let's get right into it. Of course, you know how we like to do it. We like to start off with the 5 cards that we are limited to only 1 per deck, that being the Pot of Mead, Server Outage, Pickle Quest, Happy Thanksgiving, and Raxmus Rides. And moving on to our trickery cards, we are going to be taking 2 Vitamin CWCs, which is the maximum that we are allowed due to the rules, 3 Duwas, and since our Chungus deck is a LolCow deck, we're going to be taking 2 Raxian Rages, and 2 Goat Wires. Moving on to our magic cards, since there is currently no limit besides the maximum 3 card limit, we are going to be taking all 3 Conway Chili Slot Massacres. And for our last magic card, we will be taking 2 Blow the Bullhorns. For our trap cards, we will be taking 2 Disorder in the Courts. For an item card, we are going to be taking 2 of these 30 gigawatt kill switches. And last but not least, for our dens, we will be taking 2 Clock Tower Dream Houses. Now that we've got all of that out of the way, let's move on to our Chungus characters. So starting us off, we will be taking 3 Gunts, 3 Airsoft Chunguses, 3 Ralphie Hero of Guntstar, 2 Wario Soft Fatties, 2 Bugs Tame Chungus, 3 Foodie on a Nash, 2 Super Tipster Bro, 2 of the Bug, an interesting one, 2 Santa Wings, 2 Nikocado the Great Devourer, and 1 Boogie Kong. So now that we've got all of our Chungus characters out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to our last few character cards that we will be bringing with us. 3 Homeless Mustard, 2 Blue Spike Trolls, and 2 Bug Irons. So now that we have everything out on the field, let's go ahead and go over everything. Starting with the Pot of Mead, of course you're allowed to draw 2 cards and then you ban it. Server Outage, which allows you to scrap all characters on all players' fields. Pickle Quest, which you can search your deck for any card and add it to your hand, then you shuffle your deck. A really powerful card, Happy Thanksgiving. You whistle loudly and place all LolCow type characters from your scrap pile back onto the field without having to pay their tape cost. Raxmus arrives. You can draw 3 cards, gain 50 life points, deal 50 damage to any player, and scrap a target character. Moving on into our trickery cards, we are starting off with the Vitamin CWC that we are limited to only 2 per deck. And whenever you see an X, that just means however many tapes you want to pay for that card. So we can draw X amount of cards, then lose 25 life for each card drawn, or deal 20 times X damage to any character or den. A very nice card, Duwa. You say Duwa and negate any card your opponent plays from their hand, then send it straight to their scrap pile. A very powerful card in early and late game, the Raxian Rage. For 1 tape, you can deal 50 damage to any target, or you can pay an additional 5, so 6 tapes in total, to deal 100 damage instead. And for our last trickery card, the Project Goat Wire, when you call out this card, you can create a goat token on your field with dash, 40 attack, and 10 health. If that token dies, then create another copy of that token until the end of your outro, which I always like to say that this is sort of like a server outage on your opponent's side of the field, since you can just continuously create tokens as long as they're being killed off. And now moving into our magic cards, like I said before, there is currently only a 3 card limit just like the rest of the cards. So we're going to abuse that by taking all 3 of these Conway Chili Slot Massacres, which are exactly like a server outage, with the only difference being that they scrap all non-Chungus type characters, which is very helpful for us since we are using a Chungus based deck. And next we have the Below the Bullhorn. This is just a nice little card where we can make a bullhorn sound, then search our deck for a LolCow with a tape cost of 3 or less, and place it onto our side of the field in the spun position. Then we shuffle our deck. So soon we will be going into our Chungus characters, so we can figure out which ones at certain times would be the best to call out with the use of this card. And for our trap cards, we have the Disorder in the Court, which just prevents all damage that a character deals that turn. And one card that I don't use much but I think would help this deck is the 30 gigawatt kill switch. So what this does is that it adds durability onto a character card. And you remove a durability counter at the end of each player's outro. Once it has no durability counters, it gets scrapped. And so what durability means is that when it is attached to a character, that character cannot declare beatdowns or intercept beatdowns. So this card may only be attached to a LolCow or a Troll card, so it cannot be attached to a Scribe. And last but not least, our Den cards, we have the Clock Tower Dreamhouse. And of course, since this is a legendary, we can only have one of these out on the field at a time, but we can have up to 3 in our deck. And so what this card does is all LolCows that we control have plus 30 health while it is on the field. Moving on into our Chungus character cards, we're going to be starting off with the Gunt. And of course, just under their name, if you see up there up top in the title, he is a Chungus, and you can just look at that for the rest of these cards, and they will all say Chungus on them, with the only exception being the Foodie on a Nash, who is actually a Chungette, but it's the same thing. Besides that, the other ones that don't have Chungus in their name would be the Homeless Mustard, the Blue Spike Troll, and the Boog Iron, but we'll get into that soon. So with the Gunt, he has the Reach ability, which means that characters that have Leap, we can actually use this guy to declare beatdowns on them. And also with his abilities, instead of declaring a beatdown, we can spin him and scrap a Chungus type character that's either in our hand or on our side of the field and deal 60 damage to any target. Moving on to Airsoft Chungus, when this enters the field, we instantly gain 100 life points since we don't do the dollar thing over Tabletop Simulator. Next we have Ralphie, Hero of Gunstar. In his ability, X, again meaning the amount you want to pay, we can place a target character under him with a tape cost of that many that we paid or less. That is on our opponent's side of the field. So this becomes a copy of that character until the end of our outro, and the ability can only be used on our turn. So let's say that somebody has a really good ability with a 5 tape cost. We can pay 5 tapes and essentially take it from our opponent for 1 turn and use it against them. Next up we have the Boog, which is actually very similar to the card that we just covered. In his ability, we can spin him and place whatever target character that's on our opponent's side of the playing field under him and add the attack and health to the Boog's attack and health. And when this leaves the field, you return all the characters under it back to the owner's side of the field. So let's say that our opponent was using a Wario Saw Fatty. If we use the Boog's ability on this, the Boog's attack stats would turn to 90 and his health would become 200. And we can also stack this with multiple characters. Next up we have Nikocado the Great Devourer. And this guy is actually pretty interesting. While this character is on the field, all characters deal combat damage equal to their health instead of their power. The one downside to it though is that we actually can't use Nikocado himself to attack anybody, since if we did, he would have 0 health. Next up, we have a pretty cool card from the LolCow Live universe. This is the Santa Wings card, and any character that this defeats in a beatdown is automatically added to a naughty list. And when there are 5 different names on the naughty list, you instantly win the game. So whenever you take out 5 of your opponent's character cards, you instantly win the game, regardless of anybody's life points. And next up we have Super Tipster Bro, and he has Overrun, so that means that even if our opponent intercepts with one of their other character cards, we would damage both characters. And with his ability, we can pay 2 tapes and say, here's the tip, and switch the attack and health of this until the end of our turn. So that 120 health would become 120 attack, and that 50 attack would become 50 health. Next up we have Foodie on a Nashi, and with this card's ability we can spin it instead of declaring a beatdown and say Pete's, which will allow us to search our deck for a Chungus or a Chungette character and place it into our hand. So let's say that we're low on life points and we're really hoping to get an Airsoft Chungus, that way we can add that 100 life points back. This would be a really good use for that. And next we have the Boog's Tame Chungus. This card, just like the Super Tipster Bro, has Overrun on it, and when this declares a beatdown, it must be intercepted by an opposing character. So even if your opponent doesn't want it to, as long as they have another character that is able to intercept the damage, they must have it intercept. And next up we have Wario Saw Fatty. Again, this character has Overrun, and once per our turn, we can play rock, paper, scissors with our opponent, and if we win, all of our LolCows that are currently on the field gain plus 20 attack for 1 turn. And last but not least for our Chungus cards, we have a Boogie Kong. He again has Overrun on him, and when this enters the field, yell games are meant to be fun and draw 1 card. So the reason why we are only bringing 1 of these is due to the high tape cost. This is a card that won't really be played until late game, but whenever you are able to play it, it'll be pretty difficult to try and get it off, and you can put out some massive damage. Moving on to our regular character LolCow cards, we have the Homeless Mustard, and when this enters the field, you say you hit my bike and instantly gain 30 life points. Next up we have the Blue Spike Troll. And he has dash on him, which means that whenever we play him, we can instantly attack with him. And if we declare a beatdown on another character, that 30 damage actually does 60 damage. But if we're attacking for somebody's life points, it only does the 30. And last but not least, we have the Boog Iron Gunslinger, a card with a very, very useful ability. Once per turn, we can say pew pew to negate a beatdown from any opponent. Here's just a quick little overhead view of our Chungus deck build. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you in TTS. Later!